But that is the period of history that you are in. We have said this before. You are in the middle of a very revolutionary energy, even though many of you do not necessarily feel that you are a revolutionary right now. But you are in a very revolutionary time on Earth when it comes to systems of power, systems of politics. So, how you feel about that, remember, is going to be highly influenced by what you are told to feel. So be very careful about how you receive your information and notice how you feel when you receive that information. Some of you want to know the facts and the details, but many of you are fed the facts and the details with emotional meaning, emotional slant, fear. There are so many different sources of this. Even those groups who feel they are fighting for freedom on the planet are often not only absorbing huge doses of fear in their beliefs or what it is they are trying to convince the rest of the world of, but they are also spreading it. So you have to be as clean as you can right now, emotionally and energetically, which is not easy, by the way. It is not at all easy for you to not have this energy stick to you in some way. So never ever chastise yourself for noticing that you got a little caught up in it, for that is normal. But do not believe that because you got caught up in it, you either have to stay in it, swallow it, accept it, or repeat and regurgitate it. Some of you have ways of dispersing energy by repeating it. So for example, we will use the word gossip as an example. Rather than being direct and telling someone what you're not happy about, there can be the gossip energy of telling someone adjacent to you and that person and letting off a little bit of steam without really solving the problem. Well, you can do the same thing when you talk about the world scenario. So, there are some of you positioned in this group who, by the way, are very important to world events, the political and power games on Earth. You are well positioned to be revolutionaries, change makers in that arena. So we salute you for fulfilling your mission. But the rest of you, most of you who are here, there are of course some of you who are just here with a bit of curiosity and you will just be here briefly. You are just trying things out to see if this is for you. But most of you are here because of knowing that you are a way shower, knowing that part of your mission on Earth this time is to operate from light, to operate from love. You do not need to have any spiritual beliefs to operate from love. There are people out there who are completely atheists to any of this kind of stuff, but they are operating from kindness and love because they understand in their wisdom that that is what makes the most sense and feels the best overall. Of course, you cannot always be kind to everybody. There are some people who do not want your kindness or reject your kindness or push you away. And that is not your business. If someone pushes away your kindness, do not spend a month wondering why that happened and crying about it. Go on to someone else. Your kindness is yours and people are allowed to reject what you're offering. The skill for you is in recognizing, this person doesn't want what I'm offering. I will go somewhere else where I can offer it. Now, by all means, you will be healing wounds when you cry for a month. So we're not trying to tell you off for being horrified that someone was mean to you when you were nice to them, because that's part of your learning, part of your growth, part of your healing. But don't take too long. Recognize that you like being kind. Recognize there are many people on the planet who also like being kind. Are you ready to vibrationally upgrade and find them? Or do you still think it's your job to be more kind to others because people weren't kind to you? Or because you notice a lot of unkindness in the world, you are single-handedly trying to save the world by being the kindest person known to man? Be clear about your operating system, is what we're saying. And this is the gift of this time for many of you. Many of you are having extraordinary shifts in your programming, in your conditioning. Many of you are realizing that who you were 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago is no longer in operation. Some of you haven't yet quite caught up to the fact that you're being asked to change. You're still a little upset or tantrumy about the fact that certain things are changing in your life seemingly against your will, but it's because you are being asked to change. You are being asked to let go of old ways of being. And then there are those of you where there is no fight. You are just miraculously seeing, I needed to be this way for quite a few years, but I don't anymore. Now I need something else. Lee's comment about being less of a hermit, for example. There are times when certain ways of being serve you, and then there are times when they don't. And you can apply them on any given day. But in general, many of you are losing layers of the old right now, and that can range in feeling for you from very distressing, very emotional, very destabilizing, through to quite liberating, quite extraordinary, quite surprising. You're experiencing or able to express things that you were never quite before able to do. And often you only notice this if you look back. If you look back at who you were 2 years ago and your life and what you were comfortable with, what you were expressing, many of you will be quite shocked to see how far you have come. And it's partly your own growth focus, but it's also the world. The world is changing, and those of you who are feeling very annoyed that things aren't changing enough in your life, and you say you've tried everything, well, we say, well, there is no such thing as trying everything. No one has tried everything. You've tried a series of things that you think will work, and they didn't. So now you might need to go outside your realm of knowledge. You might need to recruit help. You might need to ask people their opinions. You might need to find a very specific coach or healer to work with you. You might need to recognize that you've tried all of these things and you are getting an unsatisfying result. Maybe you are not the master of what you need. Maybe it's time to find the master of what you need, or the masters. And by the way, we are not being gender specific there. Your language is still in a very tricky position, by the way. There are certain new things birthing on earth that the language has not quite caught up for. So it is an interesting time for us. We do not use words, by the way. We use words as a translation system. These words are not ours. We are simply bringing frequency through to you that we have to use these words to deliver the frequency, to help open the frequency. So as we use words that are most familiar to you, even these words a decade from now would have to be different, would have to be changed, would have to be adaptable. That's why all of you are in a period of time where you have to allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be. Are you allowing yourself to be frustrated right now, or are you fighting your frustration? Are you allowing yourself to feel gratitude right now, or do you feel guilty that you feel gratitude when there are other people out there in the world not having such a good time? Are you allowing yourself to prioritize your need for wonder and your need for joy, or are you judging yourself for asking for that to come into your life? Allow yourself to be wherever and whoever you are in this moment. And the moment will change, and it will keep changing. But part of how you allow transformation is you try to have less judgment over yourself in this current moment, and understand that often in each moment you live, you are burning off the old. When you are walking toward the new, inviting the new, allowing the new in, you are burning off the old. The world is doing it, and you are doing it. So, when earlier, in reference to all of you, Lee was encouraging you to try new things, it was not, shall we say, wishful thinking on his part. It was energetic instruction. This is a time to try new things, to bring yourself to new things. And some of you might say, well, I'm not ready. And then we say, okay, you're not ready. Give yourself another couple of weeks or 3 weeks, but start with the idea that you are going to bring yourself to new things in a few weeks' time. New things does not necessarily mean moving country. New things can be as simple as, I never go for a walk around my neighborhood. Ever. I'm going to do that today. That simple. It's not the thing itself that makes the impact. It's the newness of the pattern you introduce. It's not the thing itself that makes the impact in your life. It's the newness of the pattern that you introduce. Good. So, we are aware there are some questions from you, so we will invite those into the conversation now whenever you are ready, Noah, and we will offer whatever perspective we may have to your